Item 2 tonight is Pete Harvey, who's now been with us about 2.5 months.
Yeah, 2.5 months.
He's going to give you a little update on the communications department.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to present to you this evening about the building of the new Webster Department of Communications. Before I dive into discussion on the department, I'd like to touch base on the production of town board, zoning board, and planning board meeting videos. Over the past 2 months, several staff members have been meeting to discuss potential solutions for meeting videos that are practical, sustainable, and use taxpayer dollars efficiently, all while producing quality videos. Most recently, we've enlisted the help of a consultant, Dan Agnew, who's here tonight for this process. He has significant experience in the AV field, and as we see here tonight, we are testing a new video system that we are hopeful may lead to improvements in our recording process, but it is all part of a process that we are hoping to have a terrific end result. So we will continue to keep the town board updated of our findings. As we transition back to the communications department, I'll look forward to sharing our department priorities for year 1 in 2 major projects that the department will be taking on in 2024. To highlight our year 1 priorities for the department, we'll be focusing on collaboration with town departments, informative and positive public outreach, and consistency of communications coming from the town of Webster. And to support these, we'll be taking on 2 major projects in addition to the day-to-day work that our department will be doing, and that is creating a strategic communications plan and an organization style guide. And the reason I'm focusing on these 2 major projects this evening is that I foresee them being reviewed by the town board within the coming year. So they're really going to be the largest part and product of the department in the coming year, and I really will be seeking significant input from the board on these. So the strategic communications plan is going to likely be the most substantial product that will come out of the communications department this year. A strategic communications plan is a guiding document that will advise on methods of communication between the town of Webster and our community. And the guiding principles behind the town of Webster's plan are intentionality, effectiveness, and sustainability. Just a handful of the topics that will be covered in the strategic communications are external communications, and those are how we are communicating with residents and business owners and developers and anyone outside of the organization, as opposed to internal communications, which we'll also be focusing on, which are our internal staff to staff, staff to our board members, those types of communications. Our audiences, who are the people we are trying to reach with our communications, both internal and external. Social media planning in response to conflict. To support the drafting of a successful strategic communications plan, I've been researching communications plans from other similar organizations and municipalities, performing a communications audit for the town of Webster, which includes social media, website, and other published items from the town. This audit should be completed in full by the end of January. In addition, I will begin staff input sessions with invitations extended to all town employees starting next week. And the purpose behind these sessions is to seek perspective on town communications, both internal and external, from the individuals who experience them on a granular level. The scope of the town's responsibilities is wide, and using an approach that seeks feedback from all of our departments will serve to benefit the town as we consider the future of communications in Webster. Over the next several months, I'll be hosting these sessions with topics including messaging, internal communications, external communications, digital media, and department programming. Using research, the communications audit, and input sessions, a draft of the strategic communications plan is expected to be complete by late spring or early summer of this year. The second of the communications department's major projects this year is drafting of a style guide, which will assist in maintaining consistency throughout all communications coming from the town of Webster. The approved style guide will provide recommendations for Webster employees and representatives on the creation, publication, and distribution of communications on behalf of the town of Webster. There's evidence that the implementation of a style guide within an organization not only increases the organization's trustworthiness, but also increases efficiency. Many elements that will be addressed in the style guide, and that includes overall editorial style, treatment of names, writing for social media, abbreviations and punctuation, spelling preferences, and formatting. A draft of this style guide is anticipated to be completed by fall of 2024. So that's just a very overview look of what the department is working on right now. Certainly there's the things that come before us each and every day, but these are the main guiding projects that you'll be seeing as a result of the building of and as part of the building of the new communications department. So I'd be happy to take any questions or comments about this.
Come on, board, this is Bridget's maiden voyage on being on the, she did great. I said, you know, 15-minute increments to a presentation, 6 to 7 minutes to leave 8 minutes open for comments and questions.
I just appreciate the very thoughtful and careful presentation. It makes sense in that we're building something for the future. And much of communication, as you said, day to day, is often reactive. But with this plan in place, we'll also have guidance as to how to format those reactions and where best for those to be communicated to the public. So I'm just very appreciative of the approach that you took.
Thank you, Patty. And I'd like to reiterate that intentionality really is going to be a guiding principle throughout the entirety of the time that I am here as communications director. Really asking ourselves why we're doing things and why we're communicating in the way we are is just so important, and will make us think about how effectively and efficiently we're reaching our residents and every other audience we have to reach out to.
The other thing that you just said, and I'm certainly not planning your departure, I want to see that time in the future with my tenure here, but you said while you were here, that you were setting a foundation for others to follow coming after us.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Thank you. And Tom and I have talked about this so many times that sometimes you can get in the habit of doing something just to do it, and then it's a plan that gets lost as you move forward. And I don't want that to be the case at all. I want us to be able to build and review and assess the things we're doing to make sure that going forward we're building upon a solid foundation rather than continually starting over.
Very wise.
Well, first of all, any questions or comments for Bridget?
Yeah.
I think what would be interesting is that you hear this quite often. We will post certain issues, events on the website, send it out over messaging, phones, and still hear. So reaching out to the public, our residents, is instrumental. I'm glad that you're addressing it.
Thank you, Councilman. And I think an important part of that is also finding those channels that we can maximize our reach.
Exactly.
And in doing that, doing it in a consistent and thoughtful way, so there's continuity, there's branding for the town. And there's so much that the town is responsible for, so much that this board is responsible for, that I'm learning as a new board member in finding ways to disseminate and communicate that to the community is very valuable.
You know, it's funny, Jen, because I think that Bridget did a great job of condensing this down to 4 or 5 screenshots. that since we've been working next to each other a lot the last 2.5 months, luckily you got Kim Doyle there too to save your sanity from having to deal with me. I have to mention this about some of the preliminary findings we found in the audit. So I hope I'm not stealing your thunder.
No, go
But
ahead.
it's something that I went home and I told my wife, and she's, with her business, she's on social media a lot. And she was like, yeah, that's an interesting finding and also assessment. And it's that Facebook, please correct me if I'm wrong, Vanessa. Facebook as a medium, I'll call it, is better to use pictures for people to actually look at, and however you guys register that, that they actually were interested in, they show interest in. What do you call it?
Reach and engagement.
Thank you very much, all right? And your findings you thought were that, one, we post too much on Facebook on average, and we also post the wrong type of things, but when we post less, but we do pictures, we exponentially go up in reach and engagement.
Yes, and I think that just generally, or is a specific example of people using different channels and platforms to consume different kinds of media in different ways. So we really have to tailor our approach depending on which channel we're using.
Now, before you think I just gave Captain Obvious, on the other hand, you said X, formerly Twitter, that historically we haven't, we think, posted enough. And we're posting more pictures on that, where that's a medium that's more verbiage, text, links.
Yes, and I'll give you an example that's timely to what we've been seeing recently, and that would be the weather event that we had the other day. And that's something that we were able to post on Twitter, or X now, real-time updates of what we were seeing from the National Weather Service. And that's the way people are consuming media through that channel. So
I found that fascinating, because I guess you get a hobby channel, and that to me was fascinating. Because until you go and look at how we have operated historically, you can't really come up with what should be making sense and how it should go forward. So I appreciate that.